I need you to listen closely because what I'm about to say is going to feel like a personal attack. You're going to want to dismiss it, to tell yourself this isn't about you. But if you're honest, truly honest, by the time we're done here, you will see your own relationship reflected back at you. The average man is utterly oblivious to this dynamic. He's too focused on the pursuit, on the performance, on being good enough, on locking her down, that he completely fails to see the reality of the situation. She's already been caught. She's already committed. She is right now more emotionally invested than you are. And here is the truth no one ever shares. That disparity, that imbalance of affection, it's a psychological fuse burning down to a powder keg. Because there is an emotional snapping point that is reached when one person in a relationship is carrying the entire weight of the love. And when she finally reaches it, the entire structure will collapse around you. Stick with me because signal number 4 is the one that will hit you like a ton of bricks. It's the one signal that men universally misread. They see it as a positive sign, but what it reveals psychologically is something far more unstable and ultimately far more destructive. I'm about to walk you through 7 undeniable signals that she loves you more than you love her. Every single one is rooted in established behavioral psychology. Every single one is playing out in countless relationships as we speak. And I need you to be brutally honest with yourself as you hear them, because the price for ignoring this truth is far greater than you can possibly imagine. Let's begin with a pattern you've definitely observed but likely dismissed. Signal number 1, she carries the weight of all communication. I'm not talking about her texting first once in a while. I'm talking about a relentless, constant, one-sided effort. Think about it. Your phone buzzes before your alarm even goes off. It's her "good morning, hope you have a great day" text. You've barely clocked out of work and the "how was it" message is already there. You share a meme online and before anyone else has seen it, her reaction is there. You decide to have a quiet evening, put your phone down for a couple of hours, and who is it that eventually sends the text that breaks the silence? It's always her. Now, the easy explanation, the one you've probably told yourself is, that's just her personality. She's a talker. She's more expressive. That is a convenient lie. And what I'm going to reveal in signal number 2 will shatter that perception entirely. Here is the psychological reality of what's happening. When one person is disproportionately responsible for maintaining the connection, they are broadcasting where the emotional power truly lies. And it isn't with them. In academic circles, this is known as relational maintenance asymmetry. She is doing all the emotional heavy lifting because she is terrified of the silence. She's terrified of the space between conversations. She's afraid that if she stops texting, if she stops calling, if she stops pushing for connection, the whole thing will just drift away into nothingness. She's afraid that if she pulls her energy back for a single day, you might not even notice she's gone. You don't have this fear. You feel a sense of security. You operate with the baseline assumption that she's there, that she's not going anywhere. She lives without that luxury. And that fundamental difference in security is slowly eroding her soul every single day. Because on a subconscious level, she knows she is putting more fuel into this fire than you are, chasing a connection that you aren't sprinting towards with the same desperate energy. But this is just the beginning. Signal number 2 exposes the secret anxiety she carries that you are completely blind to. Signal number 2, she hyperanalyzes every single thing you say and do, and I mean down to the micro level. You take a little longer than usual to text back, and she has already constructed 3 different worst-case scenarios in her mind. You watch her Instagram story, but don't react to it, and she's checking the viewer list over and over, wondering what it means. You casually mention a female coworker's name in a story, and she has mentally bookmarked it, cross-referenced it, and stored it for future analysis. You respond to a question about the future with, "We'll figure it out," instead of a firm "yes," and she will spend the rest of her day trying to decipher the hidden meaning. Now, your first instinct is to label this as simple insecurity. But what if I told you this specific pattern of behavior has a clinical name, and it is a direct indicator of how much more emotionally entangled she is than you are? This is textbook anxious attachment. When someone has more to lose, they become a hypervigilant monitor. They are constantly scanning for threats. They are reading between the lines of every text, every look, every word. Here's the brutal, unvarnished truth. You are simply living your day-to-day life. She is living in a mental escape room trying to solve the puzzle of you. And here is the part that will sound cruel. The more nonchalant you are about her anxiety, the deeper she spirals. Not because you're a bad person, but because your very calmness is the ultimate confirmation of her fears. Your relaxed state is proof that you are not as dependent on this relationship for your emotional stability as she is. You aren't rereading her texts. You aren't worried about who she's out with. You aren't losing sleep because her tone sounded slightly off. That is the imbalance, and it is driving her quietly mad. But just wait until you hear signal number 3. This is where her behavior starts to look almost frantic, and most men are completely unaware it's even happening. Signal number 3, she is in a constant state of trying to define the relationship. So what are we doing? Where do you see this headed? Are you open to a future with me? She is consistently asking the questions you are not. She is the one pushing for labels, for commitment, for some kind of certainty. And here's the crazy part. You could be just a few months in, but in her mind, the trial period is over. She's ready to sign the contract. Why? Because for her, the decision has already been made. She knows what she wants. She wants you, but you're still in the evaluation phase. You're enjoying the present moment. You're not in a hurry to define anything. And here is the psychological truth that should stop you in your tracks. Overwhelming research confirms that the partner who initiates the define the relationship talk first is, by a massive margin, the more invested one. This is a manifestation of what's called relational ambiguity anxiety. She craves certainty because her emotional stake is so much higher. Living in the unknown is psychological torment when you have already gone all in mentally. And the longer you remain comfortable in that ambiguity, the more it validates her deepest, darkest fear, that she is more committed, that she is fully invested while you're still keeping your options open and one foot out the door. That profound lack of control is a special kind of hell for someone who has already anointed you as the one. Now, signal number 4 is the one that most men are completely blind to. And it is, without a doubt, the most powerful indicator of all. Stay with me because this will change how you see everything. Signal number 4, she begins to change for you without you ever asking her to. Let me paint you a vivid picture. She suddenly develops a deep appreciation for the music you love. She starts binge watching the TV series you're obsessed with. She takes a sudden and passionate interest in your obscure hobbies. Maybe she starts adopting your workout routine because you're into fitness. Perhaps she rearranges her entire weekly schedule to be more available for you. She might even start subtly shifting her style of dress to something she thinks you'll find more attractive. Small adjustments, big sacrifices, things you never requested and may have barely even noticed. Now, this is where the situation takes a dark turn. This behavior has a specific name in psychology, and once you grasp its true meaning, you will never be able to look at her actions the same way again. This is called identity accommodation. When one person's love far outweighs the others, they begin to subconsciously mold their own identity to fit into the world of the person they love. They want to become indispensable. They want to be the perfect fit, to remove any possible reason for you to leave. She is literally shape-shifting, sanding down her own edges to become your ideal partner. but you're not doing that. You are still 100% yourself. You haven't reoriented your entire life to orbit hers. You haven't abandoned your interests or adopted hers. You haven't fundamentally altered your world. This isn't a sign of cruelty on your part. It's simply hard evidence of where the emotional center of gravity is. And she feels this discrepancy every single time she is the one who bends, every time she is the one who adjusts, every time she is the one who makes the compromise. It's a constant, painful reminder that she is far more invested, and it is absolutely maddening. But hold on, because signal number 5 is where this imbalance becomes so obvious that even she can no longer conceal it. Signal number 5, she experiences intense jealousy, but you don't. Another woman likes your photo. She's studying your reaction. She's analyzing your expression. You bring up a female friend from your past. She's filing a mental report asking probing questions disguised as casual curiosity. You go out for a night with your friends. She wants a full debriefing. Who was there? Was Jessica there? Oh, I didn't know you were friends with Jessica. Meanwhile, you barely register when other men are in her orbit. You have a baseline of trust. Or, to be more precise, you just aren't that worried. The thought of losing her doesn't trigger a primal fear in you. She could be getting a text from another guy right now, and you'd likely finish this video before it even crossed your mind to feel threatened. Now, here is the deep psychology behind this that most people fail to understand. Jealousy isn't just about insecurity, it's about a much more fundamental human calculation. It's about perceived risk. The more you stand to lose, the more acutely you feel any potential threat. She is jealous because the thought of losing you would shatter her world. It would be a devastating, catastrophic event. Her entire emotional ecosystem would collapse. You are calm because if you're being honest with yourself, you would recover. You'd be hurt, yes, but your world would keep spinning. That asymmetry in potential pain is screaming at her every day. And no matter how hard she tries to act cool and unaffected, that raw fear will always leak out. Before we get to the final 2 signals, I need you to do something. If this is hitting home, hit that like button right now, because what is coming in signal number 6 is the most painful of them all. This is where the imbalance of power becomes impossible to deny. And if you recognize this signal in your relationship, you must pay extremely close attention to what I say next. Signal number 6, she is always, without fail, the one to apologize first. I want you to think back to your last disagreement, your last fight, your last period of cold silence. Who made the first move to repair it? Who was the first to soften their stance? Who sent the first text to break the tension? It was her. It's her every single time. After an argument, you can sit in that silence. You can let a day, 2 days go by without speaking. You can hold your ground, wait her out. You are not tortured by the unresolved tension, but she is. She is staring at her phone, willing it to buzz. She is composing and deleting apology texts. She is playing out 1,000 different scenarios in her head. Now, you might flatter yourself into thinking this just means she's the more mature one, the more emotionally evolved partner. But let me tell you the stark psychological reality of what is happening. She is not apologizing because she believes she is in the wrong. She is apologizing because for her, the pain of the disconnection is infinitely worse than the pain of surrendering her pride. That isn't maturity, that is emotional dependency. She loves you more, and that love makes the distance between you feel like a physical wound. So she breaks first every time, and every time she does, the imbalance is reinforced. You learn that you can outweight her. You learn that she will always be the one to come back. You learn that the relationship's survival doesn't depend on your effort to repair it. And she learns that she is the one who is incapable of walking away. And on a deep primal level, that knowledge terrifies her. Now, here is the final signal. And this one will hit differently because once you see this pattern, you can never unsee it. Signal number 7. Her conversations are about the future. Yours are about the present. She is mapping out your life together. She's planning vacations for next year. She's talking about what kind of neighborhood you'll live in. She's fantasizing about holidays, anniversaries, and major life milestones. In the private theater of her mind, she's already picked out your kids' names. Her sentences start with when we get married, or when we move in together, or when we're old. But you are focused on today, on this weekend. Maybe if you're really planning on next month, she'll bring up a trip 6 months from now, and your go-to response is, yeah, that sounds cool. Let's see how things are going then. And here is what that seemingly innocent phrase, let's see how things go, truly reveals about the psychology of the power dynamic. It is the ultimate tell. When someone loves you more, they have already storyboarded the next decade with you in it. They have cast you in the leading role of their life's movie. They have made executive decisions about a shared future you haven't even fully agreed to participate in, but you haven't cast her yet. You're still holding auditions. You're still in the decision-making process. You're keeping your mental and emotional options open. And she feels that reservation every single time she talks about tomorrow, and you pull the conversation back to today. The chasm between your timelines becomes painfully clear. She is building a cathedral around you, and you're just admiring the architecture for a little while. That slow dawning realization is driving her absolutely insane. So here is the unvarnished truth. And this is where it gets deadly serious. If you are seeing a majority of these signals, you are unequivocally in the position of power. She is more invested. She is more attached. She loves you more than you love her. And that dynamic, whether you acknowledge it or not, is influencing every aspect of your relationship. It dictates how she behaves, how she responds to you, how she values herself. But here is the critical piece of information that no one ever tells you about being in this position. This imbalance has an expiration date. There is a breaking point. Psychologists call it relational burnout. It is the moment when the person who has been over-giving, over-compromising, and over-loving finally runs out of emotional fuel. Their account hits zero. And when that happens, something inside her will snap, something fundamental. She'll stop fighting. She'll stop asking questions. She'll stop initiating. She will become quiet, eerily calm. And men always misinterpret this newfound calm as her finally relaxing. They think she's finally being chill. It is not that. It is emotional withdrawal. It is her heart building a fortress to protect itself from further damage. It is the beginning of the end. Now, what you choose to do with this knowledge is entirely on you. You can continue to take it for granted. You can ride the wave, enjoy the surplus of affection, and assume it will last forever. Or you can recognize this dynamic for the ticking clock that it is and decide if you want to meet her where she is, decide if you want to match her investment, decide if this woman who is pouring everything she has into you deserves to have that energy reciprocated. Because here is the final inescapable truth. The universe abhors an imbalance. It will eventually correct itself one way or another. Either you will step up and match her love, or she will be forced to pull back to save herself. And when that day comes, when she finally detaches emotionally, you will, for the first time, feel exactly what she's been feeling this entire time, the profound, aching pain of loving someone more than they love you back. And by then, it will be far too late. If this video was a wake-up call, drop a comment with the words "mind blown" so I know this resonated. And make sure you subscribe to Female Psychology Lab because we are going deeper into the truths about relationship dynamics that no one else is willing to talk about. In the next video, I will reveal the precise moment a woman decides to leave a man and the critical signs you are missing right now.